Good morning and welcome to Nature Watch. Nature Watch is brought to you by Waddell's Nursery, Floral Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. And now your host of Nature Watch, Gary Miller.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right,
Yeah.
bundle back up.
Oh, not quite yet. Gradually bundle up, but...
Yeah, temperatures will drop through the 20s pretty much through the day.
Yeah, and actually it just keeps dropping. Tomorrow keeps dropping.
Keeps going down.
Yes. And the wind is going to pick up even more. And it's going to be very, very cold.
Lovely.
It's January. It's Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. And didn't I say it a couple of months ago? So maybe it's my fault that we were due.
Oh, yeah. But I think I caught this morning that Sarah Flynn said this is like some of the coldest air we've had since 2019.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So it definitely not used to this, but not unusual. It's winter. You know, we haven't had really cold weather for a long time, so we're due. We
just
got to bundle up. And actually, in honor of the cold weather, we've got some events coming up this next week. So Monday, besides being Martin Luther King Jr. Day, is also Take a Walk Outdoors Day.
Okay.
Might not be.
Now.
So actually, I thought about this, and I probably want to listen to some words of advice from the late Bob Euchre regarding Monday and take a walk outside. And Bob's advice was go just a bit outside. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Oh,
I miss all those Euchreisms.
Oh, brother. I was so heartbroken. But 90, he lived a
90 years,
very long, very good
yes.
life. One of my favorite people. Yeah.
So I can just imagine him and Yogi throwing their little wonderful bits of wisdom to each other.
There you go. 382-4280 if you want to join in on the festivities this morning.
Next week, a little later in the week, on the 25th, is Observe the Weather Day. It's supposed to be a little warmer than on the 25th, so maybe be a little more comfortable. And actually, I was looking at the extended forecast. In the next 2 weeks, we don't have a high above 32 degrees, if the forecast is correct. So we're going to be on the chillier side. Not as cold as the next few days. Looks like Tuesday, Wednesday might be the coldest with wind chill, and highs in the single digits Monday and Tuesday. So it's going to seem extra cold because we're not used to it.
We haven't said this in a while. Ice fishermen are chomping at the bit.
Oh yes, yeah. Talking about ice, actually, I want to mention that with this warm temperatures that we've had the last few days, that ice is not going to be safe in some spots, and. So if you're going out on the ice, we should see a lot of ice build up here in the next 3-4 days, and should be able to get back out there. But be cautious. Really, you want to have about 4 inches. 3 inches, you can have one person, but 4 inches is better. And to go out ice fishing, for a passenger car, you need about 7.5 inches, 6 to 7 inches, or 6 inches or so for a snowmobile. 8 to 12 they say for a car. 12 to 15 for a truck. Light truck, you might better go with that 10 inches or so, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And if you have that extra heavy vehicle, like a all-terrain armored transport for you Star Wars fans at Walker, that needs about 60 inches, about 5 feet of ice. And if you have that pet Godzilla in the backyard, that lizard monster, you need about 100 inches of ice to support that monster.
Okay.
So just saying.
Yeah, and let's see, 10 o'clock today at the Air Zoo, ice cream challenge. Let's just stay on topic, shall we?
Yes.
382-4280, trivia time. Let's go
actually,
ahead
we'll
and
throw
do
trivia
that.
out there because I wanted to talk a little bit about squirrels because guess what? On Tuesday, it's Squirrel Appreciation Day. So I had to do a little trivia question on squirrels. I was going to talk about squirrels today, too, amongst other things.
Okay.
So my trivia question about squirrels is what is a group of squirrels called? Well, we'll see. Actually,
I can't yell at you today because that's just a simple question. Okay, 382-4280, first correct caller. If you haven't won in the last 30 days, please call. If you have won in the last 30 days, let's let somebody else win. $20 gift card for Waddell's up for grabs if you can tell us.
Yeah, what is a group of squirrels called?
There you go.
And that collective noun, there's actually one common term. There's a few other terms that are acceptable, but I'm looking primarily for that one common term. we'll see if somebody are actually Googling or getting their fingers active and Googling. Some other events coming up. Today kicks off Waddell's Green Thumb Club. And if you haven't planned anything, there's actually one that you might be interested in at 11:15 this morning. That little seminar is on native plants in the garden. And that might be worthwhile stopping by. Call them and see if they still have openings to register for that. I believe they do, but double check and give us a call. And actually talking about calling, one of my coworkers, because I'm sort of hibernating for a while here, especially Monday and Tuesday when I hibernate, one of my coworkers the other night mentioned to me that she'd had somebody come in the store with a video that they had a flock of about 50 turkeys eating fruit off a tree in their backyard, and they had a video to show of it. So if you're that listener that has that video and had those turkeys in the backyard, give us a call, 269-382-4280, or you can text us, but I'd like to actually talk to you, so give us a call.
Okay.
Text, you want to text a question, 80373.
Right, but let's get a trivia winner first. What's our question again?
So what is a group of squirrels called? Now, people are probably either frantically Googling or people are, everybody that's found the answer has won in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
So they're waiting for somebody else to call in. And I will tell you, I'm going to be honest, I Googled this. I usually Google my trivia questions. This one came up so quick.
269-382-4280, and then we'll move on to the other thing. I had to run into the other studio and grab something, so I missed out.
I did see ice fishermen out yesterday and on a few lakes, but that warm temperatures, the ice is going to be a little soft in spots. The cold we'll have the next few days, we should be good. Okay. And I believe we have a caller in.
I think so. Who's this?
This is Ann.
Hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
Hi.
So, why don't you rattle off?
Yeah, what is a group of squirrels called?
A scurry or a dray.
Yep, a scurry is actually the most common term used, S-C-U-R-R-Y, which actually explains it. If you see a group of squirrels out in the yard, they're actually scurrying about, a scurry of squirrels. The other names that I ran across was a colony or a dray or a scut, S-C-U-T. But those were not as common as scurry. And when you see squirrels chasing each other out in the yard, they're scurrying about. It makes a lot of sense.
All right. Can you hold on the line for a moment? We do have a $20 gift card for you to use at Waddell's, and we'll put you on hold, and I'll get some info from you when we take a very quick break here. This is Nature Watch on WKZO.
Squirrel Appreciation Week is going on right now, and squirrels provide entertainment that's all natural, rated G, full of comedy, and doesn't even require any electricity. Waddell's Nursery Florist and Garden Center has just what you need to enjoy squirrel entertainment, including feeders, food, bungees, and more. Try the Squirrel Go-Round Feeder. You mount the steel, twirling arms onto a tree or post, attach 5 cobs of corn, then watch the wacky squirrel antics. On sale this week for $15.98. Another fun feeder is the Squirrel Cob Bungee. Attach an ear of corn and follow the bouncing squirrel. The Squirrel Cob Bungee feeder is also on sale for $15.98. To fill up your squirrel feeders, get the 40-pound box of ear corn for just $23.98. Waddell's also has wildlife food that has all their favorite foods blended together for feeding squirrels and other wildlife. Enjoy the unplugged live squirrel entertainment during the Squirrel Appreciation Week, going on now through next Wednesday at Waddell's Nursery Florist and Garden Center.
I like that it's local.
WKZO. More local news on the radio than any other station in town. And online, too, at WKZO.com.
.843, 34 and falling in Kalamazoo. Nature Watch continues. I'm Jim. He's Gary.
Yeah, so actually, we'll talk a little bit about squirrels, but I did have one note here that I'd seen from MDARD, the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, that came through yesterday. An update on the box tree moth quarantine, and they actually have discovered a colony in Lapeer County, which expands it to actually mostly on the east side of the state, but quite a few of those counties have seen that evidence of that box tree moth. And if you go to the MDARD or Michigan DNR website, and they have information on that or links to Michigan State Extension and they've got photos of the larva and the moth, so you can identify that. You're not going to see too much of that activity right now, but one thing to look for, if you're really bored and it's not too cold outside, you want to look at some of those leaves and those stems and see if you see any egg masses. They're not usually a lot of eggs, 5 to 25 or so on a leaf, either white or yellow. But look at those. They're really concerned about this. This is a bug that is from the part of Asia and was imported with plants and keeps getting spread. USDA is really watching the spread of this, and they are concerned because this could actually wipe out all those boxwood plants.
382-4280.
Another invasive to worry about.
I would normally run to the other studio to answer the phone, but I can already tell this is Marion Lawton, isn't it?
You are so sharp.
2 weeks in a row, Mary? Oh, my gosh, we haven't heard from you in a long time, in 2 weeks in a row?
I love you guys.
Oh, thanks.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm doing a lot of baking with apples, and I have a lot of apple peelings, and I put some out for the birds. I'm not seeing a lot of activity. Do you know if they like apple peelings?
They will eat a lot. A lot of birds will eat some of that fruit. They have to be some smaller pieces typically, so you may have to chop them up a little bit. The peelings, they might not eat quite as much just because it's a little tough, but usually birds will eat fruit. Depends on what birds are around. A lot of times you can see robins and some of those, like the blackbirds or the blue jays, and that will eat some of that fruit. But there's a lot of birds that will eat fruit. So they're probably looking more for what you used and not so much the peelings, but they will eat a little bit of that. So give it some time. Otherwise, you may get some squirrels out there.
Right. I thought if they didn't eat it, I know the deer will.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Mary. 382-4280. Speaking of deer, since that was just brought up, I left the house this morning. I drove all of 500 feet, and 3 deer were just standing there watching me motor by at about 20 miles an hour, just looking at me. Deer in the headlights with me on the road, them in the yard.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they're not moving really fast right now. They just sort of look at you when you go by. I've seen them a couple times. Thursday night, I saw some just down the road in a lane going into a field, and the deer just looked at me.
Urban deer are so cool.
Yeah, this is a rural deer, though. So
but they eat too many. Too much of our favorite vegetation
and
in the neighborhood.
They've actually been in my yard last couple of nights. I've seen activity where they've been scratching and eating some grass and that underneath the snow cover.
Oh, they can have that.
So they, as long as they stay away from my plants, some of my plants that they like to nibble on. But,
right.
A lot of deer out there. So anyway, Squirrel Appreciation Day, and we all get those squirrels in the yard. We, at some point or other, have had that very combative nature with squirrels and our bird feeders, and trying to move them out and get them out away from the bird feeders. Sometimes you just need to grit your teeth and say, you know what, squirrels need to eat too, and let's have some fun with this. So some neat things you can do on Squirrel Appreciation Day. You can actually just take your time and watch some squirrels out in the yard. Maybe get some photos or some videos. You want to really entertain yourself. Get one of those squirrel bungee feeders, a squungy or a squirrel go around and put ears of corn on there. Make the squirrels work at it a little more. If you don't want to get really creative, I've seen some fantastic videos of an obstacle course for squirrels to get food. Might be something you want to do when it's really cold outside. Maybe plan and start building that. When it's cold, watch the squirrels. Get all sorts of antics while watching them trying to get that food. One of the comments I'd seen, I think I mentioned it last year too, but you can actually want to dress your dog up as a squirrel. Take some photos. If you really like those squirrels. Some benefits of squirrels, though, and some facts about squirrels. So squirrels, their forefront teeth grow about 6 inches a year.
What? Really?
6 inches a year. And it's only their constant gnawing that actually keeps that teeth growth under control. That's why they're always chewing something. And so when they start chewing on something other than food, so maybe that might be a good reason to feed them too, so they have some food to eat and they're not chewing something on your house or so. There are about 265 species of squirrel worldwide. There's 44 species of flying squirrel. And besides being called a group of squirrels being called a dray, D-R-A-Y, gray squirrels build their nest way up in the top of a tree, and that nest is called a dray, D-R-E-Y. So English language confusion again. Squirrels can jump up to 20 feet in a single bound. They can run up to 20 miles an hour. So
I believe that.
I'm going to try to use a radar gun on them or something, because it'd be pretty hard to actually run alongside a squirrel and try to see how fast they're going, because they don't run a very straight line. I can see somebody on a bicycle trying to see how fast the squirrels are going. Just saying. They actually have excellent vision and hearing, and they can remember the location of thousands of nuts that they've buried for their winter food. They don't remember all of them, and they don't eat all of them, and that actually helps populate and plant trees. And they actually estimate that squirrels plant over 1 billion oak trees every year of acorns that they've buried, just oak trees. So they're very beneficial. They're also beneficial because besides being able to watch all their antics, they eat garden pests, including ticks. So if you want another animal that eats ticks besides possums, most people have a lot of squirrels around. And another fun fact, and actually a reason to have those squirrels and keep them in your yard, is to eat those ticks. Look at I guess the bright side of it. If you have to spend a little money and feed the squirrels, it's still cheaper than having to combat some tick-borne disease. So, feed those squirrels. Get some of those fun feeders out there. It's fun to watch the squirrels, and you watch the birds. The birds have been going gangbusters on my bird feed, and in fact, I got to replenish today on my way home and stop at Waddell's and pick up some more bird feed and suet, because I'm just about out. They have been really going after that bird feed, and with the cold temperatures coming, we've had that snow cover, so a lot of the birds will be trying to get some extra energy and stay warm. Make sure they've got a spot to roost. So if you don't have those evergreens around, maybe get some of those roost little pockets that you can hang out in the tree, and multiple birds can crowd in there and keep warm. It's a nice reason to have evergreens around so the birds can actually roost at night. They usually get in groups and use that sort of heat from each other to help keep each other warm. And that evergreen helps break down and cut down some of the wind, so it doesn't seem quite so cold. But the birds eating all that feed, they'll be really active with that cold coming in. And we might actually, doesn't look like too promising, but we might get that little bit of clear sky now and then, and that little crisp sunshine. You might see those brighten up those male cardinals out there. Having a lot of cardinals in. And talking about skies, I mentioned this last week, but actually another fun thing going on yet tonight. Kalamazoo Astronomical Society has their online Zoom connected. They're actually connecting to their telescope in Arizona, and I looked at the forecast for where their telescope is located. It's supposed to be perfectly clear tonight.
Oh.
So if you want to do two things while you're watching, something else besides watching the Lions game, if you're not going to the game, you can register for that Zoom link, and you can actually see some neat star gazing with that telescope that the Kalamazoo Astronomical Society has. Something else Monday. Kalamazoo Nature Center trails are open, and the Nature Center is free for the day in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Ah. However, their visitor center is closed because they're closed for the next 3.5-4 weeks for renovations. But the trails are open. And I did see that the Southwest Michigan Land Conservancy had a big stewardship volunteer day, cleanup day, scheduled for Monday as a day of service, and they've canceled that because of the weather. It's going to be too nasty cold out there to be outside and trying to do a lot of work. That exposed skin freezes pretty rapidly. So make sure you're bundled up, be safe, and watch those temperatures. Make sure you got plenty of food for the birds and the squirrels, and then keep those feeders full, and you can sit inside and stay warm and watch the birds and the squirrels.
Yeah, 269-382-4280 if you want to talk squirrels, or if you want to talk squirrels without talking, you can text us at 80373. There's my joke for the day.
So this last week, actually, Andy texted a couple of us at work, and he had stopped by to put some wood in his wood burner at his house, and he looked up in the tree, and there was a golden eagle. So there's golden eagles around. There's actually some other birds that typically don't see in this area. I was just checking the rare bird sighting again last night. And we've got some of the birds that are just migrating through that they've stopped here, or sometimes they stay about here in the wintertime. We may see a little bit more activity this next week, especially with the cold temperatures. We may see some birds that come down from further north because it's going to be warmer here than further north, but we'll see. I know the red-throated loon that they've sighted, Iceland gull, which is not typically around here. Occasionally on the Great Lakes you might see a few of them. The American pipit, which actually nests further north. Black scoter, the northern pintail, harlequin duck. They're all very rare, so they usually don't see those very often around, but they have sighted them here in southwest Michigan. And those birds, you may see some unusual bird activity, like I said, with that migration because of the cold. At least we're built for the cold around here. I feel sort of sorry for those folks down along the Gulf Coast that are looking at possibly some near zero temperatures or below zero wind chills and some snow, maybe multiple inches of snow down along the Gulf shore. So Gulf of Mexico. So that it's not something that they can handle or are used to, and those structures are not built for that cold.
Exactly.
They'll be putting on multiple winter coats and not be warm at all. Luckily, we are here in Michigan. We have all those winter coats and those layers, and we can layer up every year and stay warm.
Well, it's still going to be bitterly cold this next week, so if you work outside, please be prepared for it.
Yeah, they're talking 28, 25, maybe 30 miles an hour. And below zero, 30, 25, 30.
Below
zero wind chill.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of the forecasts for out a little further west and north from us, out in the Dakotas, northern Minnesota. They're looking at 40 or 50 below.
Oof.
Yeah, that's nasty cold.
Well, if you want to look at today, if you want to prep ahead, just so you know what to throw on when you leave, you'll want to go warm and then maybe have layer down now, layer up later.
Yes.
27 at noon, 25 at 3 as we get into the evening. 8 o'clock tonight will be down to 20, and then in the teens it's going to keep dropping from there.
And it keeps going dropping all night, and then tomorrow all day drops. And I think tomorrow night I was looking at we're down like around 8, 9 o'clock. We're down in single digits.
Yeah, there's technically no high temperature until probably Tuesday.
Yeah, they're still talking Tuesday, Wednesday being really cold.
Okay,
so.
okay. I said after the 8 o'clock news when I left the station last night, it was 41.
Yes.
So I'm going to assume at midnight, because this was at 11. At midnight, I'm going to assume it was around 41, 42.
Yeah, I was up at midnight, and it was about that temperature at my house, I know.
So that's our high.
Yes, yes, it is.
That's our high for Saturday. Yeah. We had our high early.
Yeah, and it's going to keep, actually, the next couple of days, at least today and tomorrow, the high is going to be just after midnight and drop all day long.
Oh,
and that wind's going to be picking up. We have some gusts coming in. It's going to be quite a challenge to stay warm if you're outside. So if you do outside work, and we're talking some snow because the lakes are at about 14.25% coverage right now total, which is still on the low side. And with that cold air, we're going to pick up a lot of snow. So they're talking lake effect snow, especially along the lake shore. So if you're out cleaning that snow up, make sure you are bundled up and keep that exposed skin to a minimum. And take your time and warm up multiple times.
Yeah.
Don't want to have some, get some frozen skin damage. Not fun. So,
exactly.
And we're not used to that cold. You're going to say, "Oh, it's sort of windy and cold out here." I've worked out. I used to do some surveying and my engineering background, and I remember one time surveying when it was 20 below. 18 to 20 below that was before the wind chill.
I may get one of those headscarves. I kid you, just for this next week. I am very serious about that.
Yeah.
So,
the older you get, the colder that cold seems to.
Stay warm. Grow a very long beard like Gary. You'll be warmer.
Yes. So you might catch me at Waddell's shortly this morning. I'm actually going to stop in and get some bird feed. So.
Oh, okay.
And,
he's going to be a customer.
I'm going to be a customer today.
There you go.
Got to get some more bird feed. Those birds going through that feed so fast.
Either go to the ice cream challenge, then Waddell's, or Waddell's, and then the ice cream challenge. There you go. Gary, thank you. And thank you for listening to this edition of Nature Watch. Tune in each Saturday morning at 8:30 for Nature Watch, brought to you by Waddell's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. CBS and local news up next, and then American Outdoors Radio right here on 590 and 106.9 FM WKZO.